Welcome everyone to Life of Giants. I was this close to saying hammered and cheese. All right, everyone. So, big news.
Stealing all the shows is what it seems like.
Well, basically, it's big news. Is I finally was approved for monetization into the YouTube partnership program. So, yay me!
Hell yeah!
I mean, honestly, it's been a lot of trial and error in trying to figure things out and everything. Hello, Victorio. And it's a big deal. And now, just so you guys know, you can throw me money and I will thank you with a kiss like this. This is it. That's the closest you're gonna get. But yeah. So yeah. So we've been talking about this a lot, is the whole idea that as soon as you get monetized, all it is like, oh, you just got permission to walk through the door. That enters you into a gauntlet. It's not any sort of it's just, hey, now you can do more work. Good for you.
Right. This just went from a hobby to a job.
Yeah. Which, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it goes. And I'm glad to finally not be made fun of by you. Just because, well, maybe when you're monetized, you'll be able to do stuff like
when
that.
When have I ever said that?
Doesn't matter. Everyone believes you said it. Let's be honest.
It does sound like something I would say, but mostly to my enemies,
I mean, frenemies is fine. I'm okay with it. It's reasonable. It's one of those things. But no, it's so this is the thing is, and even with doing the new thumbnail for the show too. What's up, Serge? How you doing? Hi, are you over your COVID? How you feeling? Because I'm just about good these days. I don't feel as congested. I'm still taking some drugs, not the fun ones, just the normal ones. So, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's very interesting. I've mentioned it to a few people that I got monetized and like, can anybody? It's your birthday. Holy shit, Serge. That's awesome. Happy birthday, buddy.
How old are you? 27, 28?
I don't know how old Serge is. I assume Serge was around my age, younger than me, but around like, I would say like late 30s.
I don't know. Around your age. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not late 30s.
I wish that was around your age.
Who do?
You wish you were in your late 30s.
Oh yeah, no, come on. Are you kidding me? I'm middle aged.
Around my age. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, no, well, that's around. Okay, where is the meat picks?
Meat picks. You gotta go to the Wiener Apocalypse on our channel.
Yeah.
We gobbled lots of meat.
Tons. Dino is as old as me. There you go. See? Serge just doesn't look it. Serge looks youthful. I look old as shit. So, some people might never inject cocaine into his penis. That's the worst place to put cocaine, Luke. That's the worst place.
Inject it either.
Also true. You only inject marijuana. So that's how that works. You know what? It's one of those things where I really have that feeling that like, as you get older, like people start doing newer and newer things, and you're like, I don't do enough drugs to keep up with this kind of stuff. I'm like, I just, I'm a simple guy.
That's like, yeah, like he's a grown man.
Yeah.
Getting harder and harder to want to go out after dark. Like, I don't know how people do it anymore.
So, okay. So I've had this discussion with my wife too, where I'm like, hey, I love going out at night, right? I love to party, which I think a lot of people, specifically men, like to go out to party, right?
I've never, ever wanted to go out to party. I'd never. The only thing that got me out was women. That was it. Yeah. That was the only thing. There's going to be women there and probably shrimp.
Yeah.
And you can probably get me out for both or either one. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you what, if there's shrimp, I'm going to leave early. If it's just shrimp and no women, I'm going to leave early.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll eat and get out of there.
I mean, like, it's at this point that it's one of those things where Like I need people are like, hey, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, what are we hanging out for? What's happening? Because all my stuff is at my house, not at your house. Like I don't have change of clothes. I don't have comfy clothes to change into. All those things are at my place, not at your place. So I'm like, how are we gonna do that? Like that's what he goes. You and I would go out for the day doing stuff. We would get back to your place. We would both immediately go to a bedroom, right? You would go to yours and you would go where I was staying, change, and then come back out and sit down and be like, oh God, that was a lot.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
It's not.
Because I don't like to even be in clothes, like regular, like outside, like jeans and a t-shirt, which are generally, that is comfort clothes for most people. And to me, I'm like, I am so uncomfortable wearing a jeans and t-shirt. If I could, I would be in my underwear all the time.
Like my new thing, like I always liked wearing something to carry stuff in and and it was awkward. I'm like, I wear a hoodie almost constantly because I want to have an extra pocket. I'm like, I like my front pocket. I put my phone there. I'm like, it's not. Do you guys have a rule indoor clothes for home? Yeah, that's 100% accurate. There, I have indoor clothes and outdoor clothes. It's not, and I can wear my indoor clothes like to run to the car, or my indoor clothes to like, oh, I got to take the trash out and then come back in. Like that's fine, but not,
I have no problems taking it. Now I live in an apartment. It's not so much, but when I lived at a house with my ex, anytime I needed to take the trash out or check the mail or something, I had no problems being in my underwear. I didn't care. I didn't give a fuck. I know these people, these 4 people who don't want to talk to me for that reason. And let me tell you, that was on purpose. That was by design.
I love that these men trade facial hair for balance. I mean, I did. He still has both. He's lucky, I saw that. So this is the thing though, right? Is like I don't walk out of my house in my underwear. Right? Like to the point where when I got the phone call that my brother had passed away, I walked upstairs in my underwear and my wife was like, hey, you're in your underwear. I'm like, yeah, my brother just died. She went, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I didn't stop to put pants on. I just immediately went upstairs. Right.
Yeah, no, that's a big thing. That's like a real issue for me is because like I just now thought of this, but if people would have no idea that my life is in shambles. Like they would never see that coming. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they just see this is the thing is like
I already looked the part.
Not even that, but if you're walking around in your underwear, people are like, oh, it's done. It's fine. He's given up. That's no problem, right?
No, like because I already do that.
But that's the expectation. So like you're just that guy where you're like, oh, you're okay.
Like imagine a less modest Big Lebowski.
I mean, let's be honest. Atlas, who I do a show with on Sundays, Generation Dan, and you did a show with Last Minute History for a while. That Atlas, if he could wear a robe 24/7, that would be his look. Like there's no mis thinking. Like he would wear a robe everywhere at all times. Like he would change the belt to be fashionable. Like that would be it. Like that would be the top.
I don't think you understand. I have more robes than I have jeans.
Yeah. You also have like 4 kimonos, which
that's what I'm saying.
You're not even Asian.
The kimonos. I'm counting the kimonos in the robe category.
Yeah,
so I have more robes than I have jeans. Like I have like 4 pairs of jeans. Who needs more than that? You know what I mean? Like
that's a lot of jeans. I have 2 pair of Costco jeans and I have 1 pair of fancy jeans that someone gave to me that I'm like I can button, but I'm not comfortable. Like I could not sit in these jeans, right? But they look really good. So like yeah, and it's okay. I think there's chunks in my pee. You should drink cranberry juice. Reba Fluff. I have questions about that name. It's not cool with you. That's gonna kill you. That's your kidney falling apart through your wiener. Don't do that.
Those are called kidney stone.
Or chunks of kidney. Either one, not good. Drink some cranberry juice. You'll feel better. How many robes do you have then? So I have 1. that I will like.
I have 5. It's one more than my jeans. It's 5.
Yeah, that's fair. Why wouldn't you have 7 pairs, 1 for each day? Jeans? No, come on. That's ridiculous. That's a woman's thing.
Jeans were kind of designed by the cowboys to ride across the country on horsebacks
indefinitely.
That you can wear jeans for a week without washing them. Do I recommend it? No. Do I do it? Yes.
Forget about that. Listen, I think people need to understand that like the original creation of jean and indigo dye, okay? Indigo dye,
denim and all that.
It's antibacterial. It's literally meant like, so the inner lining of a samurai's war outfit had that dye in there, and jean, because it was tough. It would keep things from going septic, and as well would be better for their entire situation. So like, yeah, you don't 7 pairs of jeans, ridiculous, right? Like slacks, for sure. You need slacks because slacks do not function if you in any way, shape, or form are
right. And if you wash jeans, if you pay attention, like they start to wither away every single time. Like every time I put a pair of jeans in the wash, it comes back like it went to war. Like it just came back from war. You know, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
yeah,
these aren't gonna last much longer.
Serge, notice your cat. There you go.
Yeah, he's the acrobat. He's all over the place.
I mean, that's ours. Just looks at us. Our cat just looks at us with disdain, and just
walks away. Pretty playful. He likes to fight and shit. So
no, it's fun. See, that's the thing is like I literally just washed a pair of jeans, and it was only because like I had worn them on a hike, so they were outside in the bush, and I'm like, okay, I gotta wash that because who knows what's on them, right? But like jeans, you gotta like, yeah, you don't wash jeans. You just throw them in the dryer. You turn them inside out, throw them in the dryer for 20 minutes. They'll be fine.
Throw them in the dryer. Now we're starting to sound like Bill Engvall.
Come on. That's all. No, but if you wash jeans, you like you said, they just deteriorate.
They're gonna fall apart. Yeah.
They're just not meant for that. They're meant to, dry them out, hang them up, tumble dry. Like that's fine. You know, you don't do anything else. Like that's why you can wear the same pair of jeans. Like if I'm working and I'm wearing jeans, I have work jeans, and then my other pair of jeans are my fancy jeans. That's it. I'm not. Yeah, no, I would not. Multiple jeans for the week. Oh, get the fuck out of here. But by the end of the week, those jeans, they stand up on their own. Just
not only that, what are we, the fucking Rockefellers, Victoria? Like a pair of jeans every week. Jeans go for like $25 a piece, and those are cheap ones. That's what, like you're looking at like $200 worth of jeans right there. What the fuck? That's too much possession for me, financially speaking.
Yeah. Also, if you're tracking the different pair of jeans that people wear, like I would say you could have like 2 blues, a pair of black, and then like a fancy pair of jeans. That would be the most. You don't need any more, right? Unless you're like an all blue.
Okay, but I know how you are. There's a stark difference between you and me. Okay.
Yeah.
When I say jeans, I just mean pants. Because I know you got your khakis, and you probably got your slacks. I don't know if those are different or the same. You got your plaids for like golf. You got your PJ bottoms, which I guess I have a few pairs of PJ bottoms. Yeah. See, I mean, I have 4 pairs of pants. Like,
okay, so this is okay. So I've had this like right now. I have the most shoes I've ever had in my life. Yeah, no, that's you don't have. Listen, you do have a suit, so technically you have. But it
don't fit me anymore. I got fat since the last time I wore it. Remember,
but you lost weight.
I was crying every day, which is a lot of caloric loss. When I could fit into that suit, I was crying all day, every day, from sadness, from the end of a long-term relationship with the mother of my child. Yeah, no, I'm over that. I've been over that for a while. Like I've got it. All the tears stay inside now. You know, I don't even think I was crying. I think I was sweating from the eyes.
I mean, it does get to that point where you're like, I don't even know what's happening. Is it hot? It's hot, like right on my face. I don't understand. No, that's like right now. I have the most clothes I've probably ever had in my life, and it's too much. I like. Which was like, hey, do we need to get? I'm like, no, I can't. It's too
Well,
much.
that's probably because of the weight loss. So you have all your old shit that don't fit you anymore, and then you had to buy new shit.
Yeah.
So you need to take a. Honestly, I know what you're doing. You're holding on to them in case you get big again. But
100%.
but
Yeah.
if you go and take those bitches down to Goodwill, now you're committed to staying this size.
Okay.
And you're
But
forcing yourself to stay the size you are. At the very least, not get any bigger. You know.
okay. So this is the only thing though, is that like everyone knows when you gain some weight, right? You keep your thing clothes. You aspire to
Yeah,
be bigger,
you
right?
need to do the opposite.
I am in the opposite
Or
boat.
you are doing the opposite, right?
I'm not. All right. So, because I'm like, at the same time, like I have some cool sweaters and stuff that I'm like, I don't want to get rid of that. But then I'm like, it's also 5XL. And I'm like, that does not like right now, my like I'm wearing a 1XL t-shirt, like just XL. It doesn't need a number. It's just extra large. And I'm like, I haven't worn an extra large since, elementary school.
That's great.
6th grade, maybe, probably 7th. And that was like a crop top, because they didn't have a lot of clothes back then. It was just 2 shirts sewn together, long ways. It's horrible, right? But
they didn't have a lot of clothes in the 70s.
Cute. No, but that's like right now. This is the hard part. Is people are like now like body positivity, and I'm like, miss that. That's like just by the hair on my chinny chin.
Yeah, because that's over, right?
Yeah, and now I'm like, oh yeah, and I will tell people like I'm fat, and they're like, you're not fat. I'm like, oh, I know I'm fat, and they're like, you're not fat. I'm like, I'm fat. Don't take this away from me. I know I'm still fat, and they're like, no, not at all. And I'm like, gross. This is not.
That's how I got fat because I kept getting fatter. I was like, guys, am I fat? And they're like, nah, you're good.
Yeah, I just
kept, it was almost like it was almost like I was taking it as a challenge. Like, oh, I'm gonna get these motherfuckers to call me fat. And then once I got there, people are just all of a sudden all at once like, you fat fuck. Like,
oh yeah,
Jesus, I didn't. What happened to yesterday?
Like, this is the thing is, as a fat person, you are like very worried about someone, like, because when someone goes to fat insults, then you're like, either I'm going to be made fun of or I'm going to have to fight. That's what it's going to come down to, right? So
you don't want to fight a fat guy either.
No, because listen, I explained this to somebody. I'm like, listen, as a guy who was 500 pounds, I didn't need to know how to fight. I did know how to fight, but all I had to do was just grab you and then fall on you, and you would die. It's that simple.
That was I learned how to fight before I got fat.
Yeah.
Which I had to really, siblings. Yeah. I think it kind of caused the getting fat because I was like, oh, nobody can beat my ass. I don't care. Yeah. I don't care how out of shape I get. Like, I'm good. I can still win. Look, I don't need to move to win a fight.
No, absolutely. I like that. Victoria's like, neither of you look fat. She's lying. She's lying to both of us.
I mean, like,
do we look morbidly obese?
No. Standards, by North American standards, we're just a little heavy.
Yeah,
we're actually pretty heavy. We both weigh a lot. We carry weight well, but we look? Yeah, by the eyeball test, we're just a little heavier, especially for our age. But in my circumstances, I'm a dad, so that gives me even more of a pass. But that's one of those things with as a man, you kind of have to start holding yourself accountable, and I'm trying to work it off. That big thing with me, like I'm gonna go jogging a little bit after this show.
Yeah,
and it's and I've started doing that again recently, and every single time, inevitably, even when I just work out, just lift. I got to tell myself, don't be a bitch. Come on, you're gonna let, oh, you're tired. You're gonna let your body tell you how your body, like, you know what I mean? Like what your body looks like. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying, right?
It's 100. Well, listen, it's Debo from Friday. where he just walks up to him, and he walks up to Craig and Chris Tucker, and he's like, "Stop being a bitch," and you're like, "That's it. You just got to remember."
Yeah.
He's like, "These are important things." Did you used to jog before, Cole? Did you used to jog for exercise, or just are you now pretending just run to people down?
I kind of stopped in my early 20s, right around the time that I had the Jack. When my ex got pregnant, I kind of just got fat with her. Which she immediately after the pregnancy, she just stopped being fat. Like she was like immediately she like went into yoga and aerobics and all that shit. And I was like, I'm gonna stay in the kitchen.
What's her excuse now?
Well, she's not. Yeah, she's not fat by any means. Like I couldn't even. I gotta give her props. That's the one thing I can say a million things about her. She's not a fat person.
That's good.
But that's before she got pregnant. Yeah, I was a daily jogger. I was pretty much a retired amateur boxer. In college or basketball, I did in high school. I did basketball. Like I was a legitimate athlete, which is why I'm so mad at myself for blowing up to the size I did.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So,
but realistically, that's a thing that happens to most men in general. The good news is that you caught it in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're like, I got to make some changes, and you made changes.
I caught it at 30.
Right.
I didn't catch it in my 20s.
I mean,
I saw it. I just didn't do anything about it.
That's it. You caught it. You didn't do anything, but you were like, I gotta. That's on the calendar
for later.
Yeah. Right. Which is fair. Like, look, I've been feeling fat for I was around 40 years, and I was like, I should probably get to that eventually. And now I'm less fat. Still fat, but less fat. That's fine.
Well, for you, it was like kind of like a culture thing. You know what I mean? So it's kind of always around, especially in Greek culture. But like for me, it was just depression. Like
no, mine was depression based too. I'll be honest with you, because
I mean, I think all being fat in general will cause depression.
Yes, that's
true. Like mine came from a little bit what do they call it? Sympathy weight from pregnancy. And then my ex, she had the postpartum depression thing, and that didn't make my depression any better. And then it became me and her had arguments every single day to the point where it was just like I had this like relationship just eating me alive. You know what I mean? So I was trying to eat myself alive. You know what I mean? Like fill the emptiness inside. So and that's why now I'm starting to get better because I'm unraveling a lot of that. Every day I think about that relationship and I'm like, oh, there's a new wrinkle that I gotta like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what is it? The can of snakes? I'm an emotional can of snakes. I'm just pulling out confetti constantly.
As Victoria said, it's a vicious cycle, and it 100% is. Like and the problem is that like depression is almost like your brain breaking itself. It's like, we're not working. This is bad. So it releases all the shitty stuff. And it's like, why do I feel so bad? Oh, because your brain is attacking you, basically. And it's just making it much worse.
Which is so weird. It's like, oh, hey, you're not being very productive. Well, so we're going to make you sad. Why the fuck am I going to be productive?
That's worse. Like, just give me like pounds of adrenaline and see how that works.
Right.
Why is the alternative like, oh, we're gonna feel really sad for like 3 days? And you're like, oh, could we try something else? No. Like, I had this conversation with Victoria where I'm like, you got to remember that we are a fucking breath of soul inside a meat sack that's literally using chemicals to run a bone mecha that's covered in skin and tissue. None of these things are making sense, okay? And also, like, yeah, your brain, not your friend. If anything, it is like enslaved to your soul or whatever, and they are at odds. Like, it is not a good thing, right? Because like it's that idea where your body's like, hey, you look like you're trying to use weight. lose weight. What I'm going to do instead is flood your body with cortisol, so you're constantly stressed, and all the effort you're making into losing weight, gone. Eat shit. What's up, Josh?
What up, Josh?
Was aggressively like sex talking me while I was eating hot dogs. So if you check out Wienerpocalypse, everyone, please feel free to because it was a lot. It was a lot. There was a lot of wiener.
Sex talk, then you're doing it wrong, Dino.
Or doing it very right. I don't know. It's
no wrong for sure.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, sir.
It was literally saying that looks so dry.
Yeah, and then you spit on it. It's perfect. It's... I wasn't just coming at him with the right thing, but Josh actually just posted. This is the funny thing about Josh. I love you to death, Josh. Is like he made, I think it was a peach cobbler or an apple cobbler. I forget what it was.
It was apple crisp.
Apple crisp. That's what it was. And it's like it looks beautiful, but then he's like, nah! And you're like, or you could just show it. You don't. There's no need. You don't even have to be all aggressive. But you know,
he's a weird guy. The day I met him, all he could talk about was like how he might be a serial killer. And I was like, okay, like
he definitely looks like he knows what plants to plant over the body.
Yeah, he went over in great detail about how he's not a serial killer, but if he was, like, and I'm just like,
okay, OJ,
I just met you, dude.
Yeah,
10 minutes ago.
It's good to set boundaries immediately. Like that's what I use my face for. People look at me and I go, and they're like, "Oh, you're not nice." No. You made that assumption. I mean,
no, I didn't make the assumption. I said you're not a serial killer, right? And then you went on this long spiel for the rest of the day. I might add, you kept bringing the topic back up after the subject matter would change. You would, whenever there was a silence for a second, a pause, you'd be like, "So, like, anyway, Jeffrey Dahmer did it this way, but this is how I would do it if I was, not that I am."
I'll be honest with you. One of my favorite is you're welcome. One of my favorite movie scenes is when somebody picks up a hitchhiker and he's like, "Hey, you know, thanks for picking me up. You know, how do you know I'm not a serial killer?" And the person's like, "The likelihood of 2 serial killers in a car is just astronomical." And they're like, "Ooh." And you're like, "No, it's one of those things. It's an odd thing." I remember me and my dad picked up a hitchhiker once. And I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's raining." I'm like, "Who fucking cares? That's his problem." It's like, "Well, I was walking. I don't care." Speaking of serial killing, I mean, please share it with us, Josh. We always like to know. I don't know. It's now like I've started working out again because I was having a hard time because I was feeling ill. I was fighting a sinus infection. So now I'm starting to work out daily and I'm starting to do weird stuff. Have you gotten to the point where you're like, weights aren't enough? I need to start doing like planks and like just
that's where jogging came in.
Yeah.
I kill fucking reps, like lifting. Lifting, I'm so good at. It's kind of ridiculous. Like when I say and I'm not even trying to like pat myself on the back, but when I say I can eat a lot, but I can also lift a lot. I think that's where it goes. Like I just lift the calories away.
I mean, like there's a lot more information, like learning and stuff with the body, and it's like there's a lot of good stuff out there to learn. But it's like it's you start lifting, and I'm like, I wanna become stronger. And I'm like, that's fine, okay, so I'll just go lift weights, and I lift weights, and I'm just like, I need more weight, and then I'm like, well, I don't want to live and have like a million different weights here. I'm like, I just need a couple of weights to do my thing, and then I'm good. Right. So now I've started doing weird stuff. I have a weird goal is I'm using a balancing board. So it's like a board and it's got a round thing on the bottom. So it's to try and work on my core balance and shit. And
you're becoming a man in your mid 40s.
It's scary, right? I tried to not be it, but so
how's your wife handling that, by the way? Because that's the last thing a woman wants is a man around.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's not a fan. She's not a fan.
He was smoking cigars in the garage next.
Oh no! Right in the bedroom.
Give me a glass of water, please, with ice.
I've called her out like multiple times in the past few weeks, and I'm like, I can't find any of my old pipes, and because I enjoy smoking a pipe every once in a while, and she's like, I don't know where they could have gone, and I'm like, I know she hid them. I know she did. And she'll just be like, hey, I bought these chocolates we can try, and I'm like, shenanigans, right? That's definitely, fat, bro. Yeah, oh, definitely. She definitely wants. She's like, I'm okay with how you are now, no more. And I'm like, listen, I want to get down to the point where I can walk around wearing like, for me to be comfortable to walk around in my underwear. That's what I would like. And if I walk around in my underwear, for people to go, looking good. Wait, I don't want somebody to go, hey, Fatso, put a shirt on. You know,
Fatso, put a shirt on. You're gonna be like Matthew McConaughey in a couple of years, just running around with no shirt on.
Mm-hmm. That's honestly 100% my goal. Like, I want to be able to do a handstand and to be able to like walk on my hands like a Cirque du Soleil person, you know? But like, it's weird because it's not like I could have done that when I was a kid. I've never been able to do a handstand. Let's be very clear. I have never, ever, like, I could roll, like, not even like a somersault, just like.
I've never been able to do it either. Even in my when I was in peak physical condition, I wasn't able to do it. I don't have the balance like that.
That's why
I can't stand on skateboards and shit either. Even a bicycle, I'm like, oh, okay. Every once in a while, just like the whole bike will just like I kind of lose it for a second.
Yeah, so. That's fair. I'm like, that's why I'm like, balance is one of the things that I've been working on, where it's like every piece of research that I've seen has been like, the key to aging gracefully is build muscle and keep moving. Never stop moving. Just always be moving.
And you know what that is? Well, for one, it's a body in motion stays in motion.
Right.
Because that's what kills old people is they retire. Mm-hmm. They retire and then they just kind of chill, and that like almost instantly kills them. But then also the muscle building is important because like the big killer of old people, specifically men, is men's legs will just give out and they'll fall and they won't be able to catch themselves because their muscles are withering away. They hit their head, they bleed out and shit.
Hey, I heard this from an orthopedic surgeon. He was like, most times, because it's like, oh, people should be worried about falling down the stairs as you get older, and they're like, it's usually someone's hip or pelvis breaking that makes them fall down the stairs. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. He goes, yeah. He goes, because what happened is they aren't active, so their body needs nutrients. Your body will steal it from wherever, right? Because you're like I said, your brain is not on your side. It is a fucking asshole, right? And he goes, oh yeah, I'll just take all the internal structure. Yeah, I'll just take it from there. And you're like, no, you don't leave the bones alone. So like a lot of times people will like step hard, and that's why like that idea of being able to jump is a very important thing, and like impact on your bones keeps them strong.
That's not good to hear, because when I jump, my whole body does like an internal oof.
Yeah, mine too. I was like, because when I was young, I could get like my fingers onto a basketball hoop, like a regulation 10-footer, right?
Yeah, I could every once in a blue moon, I could touch the rim. Yeah, every once in a blue moon when I get a good one.
If I lined up my steps,
that 9 and like 7/8 of a foot.
Yeah.
Then that was a little below. I could get it a little bit, not quite the standard. Somebody kind of measured wrong. I could get it.
Yeah, hey, the adjustable ones where it's just like one click down. I don't need a full like 3 click.
One click down, I'm getting every time, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Right. So that was the other thing. And I'm like, I want to learn how to like do, because like when you see gymnasts, right, like guys who do like the pommel horse and shit like that, those guys, all their workout is them using their body weight, right? So it's like, oh, if a handstand is not enough work for you, good, do it one-handed. And you're like, oh, that's a lot more. And it's like, yeah, that's the whole idea, right? So it's like,
dude, have you ever done push-ups one-handed? That's just crazy.
No, but I like that's also something that I like. I'm working.
No, you think as a grown man, especially when you can do a lot of push-ups, you're like, I'm gonna get cocky. I'm gonna
No,
do one hand, and then you just put your one hand back by, and you just start. Ah!
but like that's that. Yeah,
It's
no.
like, what's happening? You're like going down like the Titanic, bro.
Oh, yeah, no. Like okay, so today I tried to do a dip. Okay, so I have I built like a thing, a machine for like chin ups and dips. So it's got like a dip thing like this. So you can just like
Those are tough too. You can do that with chairs if you can. I know how you are with chairs, though. I've
I
seen it in action.
yeah no chairs. Me and chairs are enemies, just straight up. I've
Clearly,
never
dude. I
got.
almost saw you like lose your kidney to a chair. Like
Hey, you know what? Also,
it straight up tried to scoop your kidney out of you. Like
and also like as recourse, your chair just atomized underneath me when I was just sitting on it. And I was like, hey, and you're like, what's going on? I was like, it
it
just
was pieces. Oh,
breathe
there
the
you go.
nipple.
There you go, Brodo.
Frodo, you are a dirty, dirty man. No, but that's like, yeah, no, me and chairs. That's why, like, every time I see a chair, I'm like, because I've tried doing
Come
dips where
see
you
a
like you
chair?
hold it. No, like I mean, but I look at a chair and I'm like, you're not structurally sound. Even we were in Marshalls, and there was a nice, like, comfortable chair, but the legs went down and then outward like that, and I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. Victoria's like, but you could probably it's designed that way. I'm like, that's anti-fatness. Let's just immediately. Yes, I love it. He's like, yes, I am. I'm a pervert.
No, I told you too. It was funny because you came to town, and so I was like the whole like day or two before you were coming over. I was like straightening up my apartment and making it look like a civilized person lives here, and
Not
as
the
much
worst.
as I can look civilized, and and I dead ass was thinking, I feel like I have one too many chairs. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's gonna one chair is gonna take up too much space. It is what it is. It can't take up that much space. You came here and then you handled that problem for me.
I mean, like, efficiently.
And I think you thought I was telling you that to make you feel better, but I really wasn't. I really meant that. I really was like, I have one too many chairs.
It's 100% something that I'm like, don't.
You thought I was patronizing you, but that's not who I
100%.
am at all.
I was like, I don't need that in my life. Don't be like that. Just admit it. If anything, I would have been happier if you're like, that was my favorite chair, you son of a bitch. And I'd be like, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna give you that satisfaction.
I mean, that's also true. That would have been brought me joy. And I'm
Well,
like,
I'm not gonna, first
no
off, I'm not
limit.
gonna let you sit in my favorite chair.
That's fair.
Not because you're fat, but because it's my favorite chair. Like
I mean,
I'm gonna sit in it.
yeah. I think that's something that you learn being a man where you're like, oh yeah, have a seat. They're like, oh, can I sit there? You're like, no, this is my chair.
No.
And people are like, oh, but it looks comfortable. Yeah, it is. That's why it's my chair.
Well, that's a big thing down south where with the patriarch of the family, like there's always every old man of the family has his chair and
Yeah.
he's generally in that chair. If he gets out of the chair, he's either going to bed, going to take a piss, getting up for dinner, or there to whip the children's asses for being dicks.
That's right.
Because he said 14 times to shut the fuck up.
And to be very clear, the man who has his own chair does not get up to beat his children. His children have to come to him and bend over, and he'll just right in the head. That's how that works. Okay. I have been on the receiving end of that many times.
It was different. We ran. We were like, "Oh, it's time to go."
That's when it immediately.
Don't come back till the street lights are on.
Oh, there's what? Yeah, there's been a few times where something got broken and it's like, looks like we have to go for a bike ride.
Right.
And off you go. Yeah, no, that's fair.
What that broke? How did it break? Nobody was home. That's crazy. Were you guys home? Did y'all break it? Did you break it?
Yeah.
You broke it, didn't you? That's fucked up. Why did you bring me in here to tell me that? That's weird. You don't have to confess.
So hilariously, like, I'm not smart when it comes to deceiving people. Like, I'll just take the shame and I'm just like, I did it. It's fine. Right. Because I'm like, I'm guilty. I don't see any problem with admitting guilt if you've done something wrong. But if I've done nothing wrong, I'll be like, I will never admit to shit. Like, so there's been times where I like walked into a situation and everyone's like, well, who the fuck did this? I'm like, I broke that. And they're like, and I'm like, yeah, sorry. It just exploded. I don't
For
know.
me, it depends. Like most of the time, if it's not that big a deal, it's not that big a deal. So I'm gonna be like, yeah, it was me, my bad. But if it is that big a deal, I'm gonna die with a lie. Even when you got me caught, I'm gonna be like, what? No, straight gaslight. I don't care.
I've been thinking, okay, who's this? Marcias is, I've been thinking a lot. I'm a big traditionalist, but I don't know if women should exist. Well, you can't just get rid of half. That's not how that works. Because then we just all will die. That's,
Life finds a way, Jurassic Park. But that also sounds like life finds a gay. And like, I'm not interested in that.
For at least, 50, 60 years. And then you're like, we need women. It's not, we're just going to start dropping like five.
Well, the beta males would become the women. They would start dressing like femboys.
Yeah, but they can't get pregnant. That's not how that works.
I'm telling you, life finds a way. Oof. They would figure it out.
But those will all be butt babies, and they're not pretty. They're going to all be like dragons. It's not, and not cool dragons, just the ones that go into the ground. There's worms.
Are you telling me they would be assholes?
Basically, yeah. I mean, this is the weird part is that, see, I feel like there's, well, let's be honest. Men and men aren't equal, let alone men and women or, children. Nobody's equal. I feel like that's one of the things we have to start, or it might come out like aliens. I feel like that would be even better. Can you imagine if the punishment for anal was an alien coming out of your chest? I feel like that would be aggressive. Men gonna be having babies crawling out y'all's penis. That seems like, so I have a comic, somebody I follow on Instagram who draws like horrendous comics, and one of them that he made was essentially if roles were reversed and if men gave birth out of their wieners. It's graphic and horrible. I don't encourage anyone to Google if men could give birth through their wieners, because the cartoon that comes up is it will make you know that that's not how anybody wants the future to be. Just period. It's rough. Just, and artist rendering, I tell you, they know what they're doing. I feel Victoria is more onto something. I feel like that would be like, if we could, it would be an exchange where you would like have something pop out of your chest and then you're like, now I'm dead.
I feel like we would just like separate, like we would just,
like mitosis.
Actually,
I listen. See, this is the problem. Is like, hey, can we get a shout out to everyone in the Midwest?
What up, Midwest? Sure. This is the Midwest. This is Cleveland and Toronto. We are the Midwesterners right here.
I mean, yeah, we are like basically. So I'm not. I'm in.
That's the Midwest. He's in the Midwest.
You're the Midwest. Yeah,
you're in the Midwest too.
I don't think so.
You're Toronto, on a Great Lake. That makes you the Midwest.
Yeah, but I'm in Lake Ontario. That's way better than what you got. Hell yeah, Trump 2024. Make the Midwest.
Lake Erie drowns the most people, though.
I thought that was Superior. That's something I would like to talk to you about.
Well, Lake Erie is the shallowest, I believe. So, like, a lot of ships sink.
There's a lot of shipwrecks in Lake Ontario. Like Lake Ontario.
Well, just in general, the lakes are fucked up because they have just they all have shallow points.
Oh yeah.
So
there's a lot of, also too, they've found sharks in all of the Great Lakes. There's no and there was even a shark in the Mississippi. Yeah.
Yeah, a tiger shark swam all the way up the Mississippi River, and they found it in Chicago.
Which is fucking terrifying, right? Because
tiger sharks don't give a fuck, bro. They don't give a fuck. Because they're hybrids. They can swim in both salt and fresh water.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is like, well, that's the thing is, once you've seen like a big ass catfish, like when you see a catfish that's got a head the size of a Volkswagen, you're just like, I don't want to be in the water. This is not for me. I can't breathe under here. I don't want to be involved because that shit's terrifying, right? But come on, that's
Whoa, KBZ. Just because we're Midwesterners does not mean we're Trumpers. We are Trumpers, but come on, don't make assumptions.
We're not, but we're Trumpers only because the alternative is so horrible, right? Like, this is what I try to explain to people. I'm like,
we're really just independents, and right now Trump seems like an independent pretending to be a Republican.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, basically, like, that's the whole problem is you're going, if anything, I've become more liberal in that I'm like, you know what? It's something beneficial for people to have a livable wage. It's something beneficial for people to have incentives to have children. Things like these are good things, and
Isn't
those
it
are
crazy to just say that like people should be able to make a livable wage is a liberal thing. Like,
right.
why is that?
See, and that's like you got to remember too is like there was a time in history when a billion, I forget which one, but the old school billionaires would hang out, and they ostracized one of their own because there was a news article where one of his workers had to collect food stamps because like I can't afford on my wage, and he was ostracized. You're like, bro, your own people, like your workers. If you work 40 hours and you can't afford to live, the system is flawed. It's that simple. And that's the real issue is like the problem is
there's plenty of money. It's not like there's a lack of money.
Oh, there's so much money. It's more so that people are just hoarding for no reason, right? And like, look, you have a country that has healthcare, but now is trying to approve healthcare for only specific people in jail. What are you talking about? That's insane. There's no reason why. Like, look, education should never be for profit. Healthcare should never be for profit, and war should never be for profit. Those are three things that should anytime
there's like houses too, homes.
Oh yeah, well, homes should be an investment of chance, right? Like, oh, I live in a really nice area, so this house is profited, but using house as your entire job, like, listen, there are people who just buy and sell houses. That's their entire income, and I'm like,
oh, it's crazy.
That's like, and I'm not talking about that. Well, I'm not talking about a real estate agent, like it's just an actual person. And you're going, yeah, that's not actually producing anything in the economy. And that's why like there are so many roles and jobs and occupations and careers even that their entire existence is just based on taking a little slice of everyone else's pie and they don't actually produce anything. And you're like, yeah, I don't, that you're garbage, right? Like you're not helping anyone, right? And those are the people especially who are hoarding the fuck out of money, right?
Yeah, if you look into it, most rich people own houses, like rent houses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that.
It's easy money.
I don't understand how that isn't like weird. You know, and that's the whole thing with the. It was big in Florida. I don't really want to talk too much shit about Florida because of all that's going on down there right now. By the way, how's your mom?
Oh, she's up here. She's fine.
Oh, she's up here? Okay.
I think she leaves for Greece tomorrow. So, yeah, she's more than fine.
Yeah, because Florida, I don't know if you heard, Florida is just just like wiped off the map.
Bro, and that's scary. But like...
Yeah, all the way up to like Tennessee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But in Florida this past summer, they like there's this whole thing about like squatters' rights and how they're getting rid of them, and like I kind of want to like see the point of the people who want to end that, but at the same time, it's like there's people who have 2 and 3 houses, and then there are people who have no house.
Well, so this is the thing: is that there are people with 2 and 3 houses, and 2 of those houses are vacant on purpose.
Yeah,
and then you're going. So
the thing, you know.
That's like, so what people have to understand, like one of the biggest things to understand about economics and as a pre-plug is that is something that Cole and I are developing is a show about just money. Okay. And finances and all that kind of stuff. So more to come, and that's why you should like and subscribe to our channels because we're fantastic. But the idea is that supply and demand are the key components for just about everything in the universe. Okay. And that comes down to the creation of life and then also to the manipulation of wealth as we're seeing right now. So it's the idea that you would have you keep a home vacant that you own to artificially inflate the necessity of higher rent costs because there are things that aren't available. And then also, too, you're manipulating the value of the homes because you're creating a fictitious environment that doesn't have a resident in it for no other reason than just profitability. So in actuality, like there are, I think it was that weirdo with the big head and small face, Charlie Kirk, who looks fucking weird. He's a weird looking guy, but he even said it in one of his interviews was no corporation or investment firm should own residential homes if they have a value of over $100 million.
At the very least, we should get rid of corporations owning. Really, I don't even think corporations should own land. And like, I don't know how that would work because then you have to have like, there's like farming companies and stuff like that. But
well, so this is something that we'll touch on is the idea that creating a corporation and it having rights like a person does is one of the big failings of history and society as a whole, because the fact is a company is not a person, and it having rights to make decisions and protections like a person is how people like you and I would conceal our liability. And the fact is not being liable creates an environment of inaccountability, right? So like the crazy part is we're like, well, I slipped on your stairs, so you owe me pain and suffering and bullshit. Go fuck yourself. Because if you fall and I make it sued, I'm just gonna come out and crack you in the head and kill you. That's fine. It's done, right? So, and
doesn't like giving the rights to a company, giving basic human rights to a company, doesn't that in terms of owning land, doesn't that kind of create like almost like a privatized feudalism?
Correct. So, and that's why like a lot of corporations do things like so there's a lot of legalities with it, but they'll create shell corporations in various states that have various rules, such as Delaware is a great tax haven. However, if you've been to Delaware, it is horrible. So
that's where all the credit card companies are. There's a lot of skeevy people in Delaware. There's like that's basically the mafia. Yeah, like
also
people charge 25% interest on everything, and they usually seek out the first thing I got. The first piece of mail I got, I hadn't even like had a basic address yet. First piece of mail I got as an 18-year-old was a scam credit card, essentially. Like just with I didn't even know what interest was. And I'm still paying that interest off to this day at 30 years old, you know, like.
And that's one of the things is that like the understanding, like when I was a financial planner, yes, that's right, everyone. I was a real person back in the day.
I don't know if that's person.
Like I cosplayed as a real person.
That's that's some demon time shit is what that is.
Basically. But like I would tell my clientele, be like, hey, your child is almost 18 right now. They're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm going to need them to come in. And they're like, oh, do they need to do something? Like, well, I'll open a bank account for them and everything like that, because that's what we have here. But also, too, I am going to educate them, and you're welcome to come too, on like how credit cards work and what people are trying to do, like so they can have an understanding of how, like, because they're entering a totally new realm and they will be blindsided because colleges, like, hey, I was in school for finance and I got cornered and applied for like 6 credit cards. Like nothing good came from that shit.
Right.
Oh, and that's the thing is I was in finance, people. Doesn't matter. It's hard selling. You got to be like, hey, yeah, this is how that works. Credit cards, people are like, oh, it's like free money. No, it's not. Lemon.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for sharing.
I mean, listen, Nick, to each their own. And I feel like that would be like sour and salty.
That's pronounced bukkake, by the way, Dino. I figured you'd know that as a Greek, but maybe you didn't. I don't know.
Why would I not know that? I am just as much of a pervert as anyone else. Thank you very much. if grandma couches covered in plastic, grandma's a squirter.
What is everybody's
You know that's not
it's
actually
Monday night.
And also, Jay Bellagrosso, you're gross. Is that a toupee? Who? You think this
Me
is
or
how
him?
you invest in a toupee? That's
Yeah,
a
I'm just
poor
saying.
decision. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm just holding on to this. I feel like I'm gonna dreadlock this. Just dread it and just have it like hanging down.
Braid it. Yeah, no, braid it.
I'll braid it and just like put like beads in it.
Yeah, beads and shit, like a pirate.
Yeah. As an educator, I'm anti-bukkake in school. I mean, 50-50 on that.
Let's
I'm not
just.
sure.
I don't even want to talk about that one. Let's move on to the next subject because that. I'm not. I don't want even want to go there.
Listen,
Nick's gonna have the feds on him soon for that.
I mean, Nick, I like Nick. I think Nick's great. There's Erwin. Erwin hasn't shown up all day. I hope Erwin's okay. He is also like 1,000 years old, so it's
he croaked.
I mean, there's
He's talking all that shit about us having strokes, but
but also too, like typing in all caps. I feel like that was therapeutic for him. Like he was able to get it off his chest. He's like,
we bullied him into stopping it.
We did. Well, listen, so there's this whole thing, and Victoria and I have had this discussion, is that where like older people, especially from a boomer generation, are very much like, you have to respect me because I'm older. And I go, no, you have to earn respect. And the fact that you don't have it up until this point is disappointing. Almost every hand you have shaken has had it at least once. No, at least twice. And every mouth you've kissed. I mean, if I have to kiss a mouth, it probably had my wiener in there, but that's fine. It's a wiener palooza was great. I mean, I appreciate you, Nick. We are thinking about what kind of shenanigans we will get up to next season. So feel free to leave a comment in the comments. Yeah,
it's like 9:15 is right when all the weirdos come out.
I mean, that's like, you're definitely in darkness. So it's like, yeah, now I can do whatever I want. Yeah, no, that is one of the things that is hilarious. I remember my dad would be like, why do you have to go out at night? That's where the ghosts come out. And I'm like, it's very old timey. And I'm like, why is that a thing? He's like, yeah, curfew's 10 o'clock. And I'm like, have you ever had a curfew? I wonder.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was a kid.
Elaborate.
A child, like a minor.
Okay. And what was your curfew?
I don't remember. I generally was inside before it, if I'm honest.
That says he didn't have a curfew. It was just
summertime. No, I didn't. Like once I got to teenage years, I just kind of like I don't know. By like sophomore year, like I was like out. Did I ever tell you the story about I was hanging out? This is my best friend Kevin, who is no longer my best friend because I dated his sister when I was 18. But we were best friends in high school.
Yeah, and you were.
Yeah, that's not the last best friend I dated their sister either. But it was just the first. But
it was the trial.
Your sister's next. But
God.
We dude, we were always doing like fucking stupid shit. Like there was one time where we opened every single mailbox and left the red flag up in the entire neighborhood. There was another time we took all of the there was an election year. It was Obama, I think, Obama and McCain, and we took all the I feel like me and my buddy were like single-handedly helped Obama win because we took all the McCain
posters,
signs, and stuck them in people's yards that had Obama signs just to fuck with people. Because we had no opinion, we were 14. You know what I mean? But all that aside, there was one time. There's a gas station at the end of the neighborhood, as per usual, and it was the middle of the night. It had been like 2:00 in the morning. We went down there and got big gulps, the biggest, basically a gallon of soda each.
Yeah,
and we basically chugged them. We were getting close to home, but there's this main road strip that kind of connects from one highway to the next that people like to go down in the middle of the night. And my buddy was like, I gotta take a piss. And I was like, all right. So he was like, I'll be right back. And then he literally put a cup in the road and took a piss in it. And he came back. He was like, watch this. And I was like, no, you watch this. And I did the same thing. And then we 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 saw a car coming. So we jumped in the bushes real quick. We were watching, and of course, it was like a convertible. And this dude's flying. Had to been like no older than I am now. Dude, just flying. And you see the fucking you go, you're a pope. And the cups go splashing everywhere, and they like land in his car, and then he stops.
Yeah.
Oh hell! And then we just took off running.
So, to be very clear, okay, Jay says a female always gets in between. That's why it's recorded. You're not weird for the congratulating us on Wiener Apocalypse. Is more so for the Bukkake statement.
Yeah, the Bukkake statement. That was the weird part.
Yeah.
Thank you for the congratulations on it.
Yeah, we thank you for the
not the Bukkake part, but the Wiener Apocalypse.
So hilariously, like that's one of those things where like I saw a video where a guy pulls up. He's like, I'm gonna give you one chance to apologize right now. He's like, all right, cool. And the guy grabs a milkshake and just throws it in his window and just drives away. And I'm like, bro, do you understand how diabolical? Like throwing a bottle of water, piss, or a pop, mean. A milkshake, that car will never smell right. Like that's immediately that car is done. Okay. And I'll tell you this much. So like the only throwing piss on cars is top.
We didn't even throw it. He was just driving too fast. That was on him. But what are the fucking odds that, of course, the first car that drives by is a fucking convertible? I've thought about that for years. That was like my introductory to life's a simulation. Like,
yeah. The only way this could go horribly wrong is if it's a convertible, and then you're like, and here we go. Like that's fair. I mean, like realistically, you're in a convertible. You should not run anything over. You should just.
He was going so fast that I don't think he saw it until it was in his car. Like,
I knew a guy in high school that would jizz in every convertible that he saw.
Oh yeah.
He would just.
That's different shit. That's not.
Hey,
that's not the same thing that I did. That's that guy's got problems.
Oh, he's dead now. That's fine.
Yeah, I can see it.
I remember, like every once in a while,
I think somebody caught him and killed his ass.
I'm not sure, but nobody will tell. Like, you know, when people only do like, what the hell is wrong with your school? Oh, there was a lot of things wrong. That's a whole other world. But like,
Canada is one giant small town.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah. Don't say it's topless. It's the point is like where I grew up, like it was suburbia. So if you didn't have a car, you were walking. And if you're walking, just stay home. You're not gonna have a good time.
That's kind of what it was for me too. Like it was kind of like a hybrid of like trailer parking / suburbia. But but we were always walking. There's this like the time we did we rode around and lifted all the red flags on the mailboxes. We had there was these kids who were like 12. We were like 14, 15. And there's these kids who were like 12, and they were always talking shit to us, like they were cussing at us. Or like, you're not supposed to talk like that. And they're like, fuck you. So we like pushed them and took their scooters. We stole their scooters from them. We were assholes, dude.
No,
like,
that's bad.
Out of altruism in our heads, we were like, they're going to learn that it's not okay to talk to people like that. When really all we did was take their shit. And now they're like, fuck these assholes. You know what I mean? Like we thought we were like teaching them a lesson. You know what I mean? Like
so we would do that when young people would be like, yo, can you buy some smokes? And we would just be like, yeah, cool. Yoink, and just drive away every time. And they're like, yo, you're like, who are you gonna call?
Yeah.
You call the cops? They're like, no. They're like, you're gonna tell people, like it's like that crazy lady who's like, hey, have you ever I want my money back. Why? What were you trying to buy? I was trying to buy drugs. You're like, that's not, you can't call the cops if someone steals your money when you're trying to buy drugs. That's not, you can't do that. You just have to know people.
Somebody
Otherwise,
called the cops on you guys?
No, not us. No, nobody's called the cops on me. Are you kidding me? I know police. People don't call the cops on me. That's ridiculous. Is that how your hair flew away? No, just age and stress, you jackass. Jay Belgrosso,
He got you, bro.
you're dumb. I don't have a convertible anyway. Hi, V from Taiwan. He still says you look like Snoop Dogg.
I do not.
And I look like a person eating spaghetti, which I'm like, I'm okay with. I do like spaghetti. That's fair. I don't know, man. It's a wild world we live in. That's for sure.
I look like Snoop Dogg if he wasn't embalmed.
I feel like you look like Snoopy. That I would believe.
Snoopy, maybe, yeah, but I still don't look like him.
I mean, V is a huge fan of Snoop Dogg. This time, I bought shoes from a drug dealer. I was wondering what he laced them. Jay, I'm sure you're the funniest guy that everyone hates at the office. That is for sure. It's yeah. You definitely you could definitely pass an adult human version of Snoopy. I would definitely give you. That's for sure. I don't know why, but it just is.
And as far as Nick goes, like, fuck you, buddy. Like, he may be the star of the show, but we like, every good movie needs a supporting character. So suck my dick, motherfucker, and a villain. And I don't know which one I am yet.
Hey, Nick, I appreciate your old man support for a fellow old man. It's good. I like it. It's someone who also just likes to ruin children's fun. I saw a thing this yesterday, and I sent it to Atlas. So Atlas, who I do Generation Dan with, he is also an educator. But I tell him, I'm like, you're cosplaying as an educator. You're not a real educator. And he's like, no, I'm a real teacher. I'm like, not really. One of them was that, like, this girl had the worked up the nerve to ask a guy for his number, and he pulled out his phone, and she was like, yes. And then the teacher saw, and so the teacher just grabbed the phone out of his hand. He's like, you're not allowed to have these outside of, in the school. And
Sorry,
it's like,
my cat was trying to kill my bird. I got distracted.
Why do you have a bird too? Oh, Jesus. Is that the bird your mom
I don't have anything. These are my mother's pets. And you see the chaos my mother brings. She's like, I'm going to bring a cat, a dog, and a bird. And it's going to be like Tom and Jerry in your house all the time.
Yeah, that's accurate. I mean, like, I feel like that lightens the burden on you. You're just like, I don't have to worry about the chaos. The chaos will just.
It was caught on live YouTube. It was just trying to kill the bird. I'm about to punt him off the fucking balcony. If he kills the bird, if I have to see the dead bird, I cannot handle death. I am not emotionally equipped for it. If I have to bury the bird, y'all are all paying.
So I give birth to all pussy. What's the same?
Probably.
Okay.
That's right. I mean, that's accurate.
I'm like a soldier. If I catch my homie dead, it's gonna fuck me up for life. That's what the bird is. The bird's my homie.
Your version of PTSD is very unique and specific to your mom.
We're war buddies. We've been in the trenches together.
He's gonna start crying and bang on the table. I mean, listen, that's how you do it. I do have a giant Tom from Tom and Jerry. Victoria got it.
Is that Dino? Is Dino the giant Tom?
No, I mean, I would be the lazy cat. That's fair. That is reasonable.
Tom is not a lazy cat whatsoever. He is on it every day, all day.
False.
He clocks in 40 hours trying to get that mouse.
That's not how that works. Also,
maybe 60.
I mean, cats only are awake for like 3 hours a day anyway. Come on.
Not this one. This one's all the ways awake. Every time I come out of the hallway, into the hallway, it'd be in the middle of the night, he's like,
that cat has
sorry, I was trying to get the bird.
That cat definitely has a drug
problem. Sleep. The thing is, the cat can't sleep because it knows there's something in the house it can kill. You know what I mean? That's so creepy.
Yeah. It's even got hands that move. I don't.
Sounds like you snapped the arm.
My wife just handed this to me. She's like, here, show him your Tom and Jerry. There you go, Tom. Yeah. It's massive, and it's also fuzzy. Very cool. have no idea where I put it, where we store it. Fantastic. Why bald men always have big beard, like hair fall off top it? I mean, I have been thinking about. So I have work this month at the Legends of Horror at Casa Loma in Toronto. So I'm gonna keep the beard for that, but then I might shave after that. If it doesn't get really cold at the end of October, I may shave just to give my face a break. But like right now, I may not have a double chin. So the worst part is when you get rid of a beard and people always recognize you for your beard. Like I've shaved my beard and walk by people and I'm like, "Hey man," and they're like, "Hey, what's up? What the fuck?" And I'm just like, I don't. One guy was like, "I didn't know it was bring your child to work day," and I was like, "That's rude."
Yeah, I turned 12 years old immediately whenever I shave.
Yeah. I look. You look so pale. That's because I have a light on me that makes me pale. That's the whole idea. It's called theater. You fuck. I'd rather have two chin homie than two face. Hey, let's be honest, Jay. You wish you had a homie. You don't have a homie. Nobody hangs out with you. Just don't be mean. Come on. Just be honest, okay?
Yeah, this friend group is very exclusive.
It's getting more exclusive by the day. Sorry.
You gotta be about business too to be a part of it. You gotta bring it. It's like more of a commune than anything.
Yeah, well, listen. If people aren't doing their job, then it's hey, you ain't doing your job. Get the fuck out, right? Those things. I ain't got homies. I got real ones. Oh, that sounds like dead people, but that's fine, Jay. I mean, with the name Belly Grosso, your belly's probably Grosso. So
I was gonna say that's like more mafia, huh?
Hey, he's got his profile picture is a tramp stamp. If anything,
yeah, he went to prison. He was somebody's bitch in prison.
He was definitely somebody's bitch. There's
is it Titty's tramp stamp?
No, it's San Diego by the border. Come get your shop on, build your friends, we dig in tunnels. I don't know what any of that means.
Why dig tunnels in the border when everybody's just walking across now?
Yeah, like
it's not even an imaginary line anymore. You could just go past it.
That's like advertising yourself as the one mime that talks. No, you missed the whole point of being a mime. Don't talk. Why are you? It's weird advertisement.
Isn't it crazy that George Young did all that time for dragging drugs across the border? For what's his head?
Everybody who could find out.
The cocaine guy. The Colombian. Pablo Escobar. Yeah. For Pablo Escobar. George Young did all the time for crossing the border a bunch of times with drugs, and now you can just walk across the fucking border.
Well, hey, forget about that. Like the wild part is there was another guy. I forget what his name is, but Tom Cruise plays him in a movie. It's called American Made, I think, and he's the guy who essentially just worked with the CIA and did the exact same thing. The difference was that George Young just did it for himself to make money. You're like, no, he is. You hook up with the CIA and then you don't go to jail. It's perfect.
That's what the show Snowfall is about. Have you seen that on FX?
No.
You should watch it. It's pretty good. It takes place in the 80s about the crack epidemic in LA and really the whole country during the 80s. And it talks about all about how like the CIA was involved in the coke trade to fund the civil war in Nicaragua to overthrow the Nicaraguan government.
Okay, I love that Jay is like, we pushing bricks like Egyptian slaves, bro. Number one, those were Jews. So
yeah, those are Jews.
You got to learn how to talk to mimic one of those.
And that's the thing is like I have Jewish ancestry, and Dino, he took up a career as a Jew for a while. He went to college for it.
I mean, I tried to like weasel my way in. They weren't having it. They were like, you're cheap, but not cheap like us. And I was like, shenanigans, I'm more cheap to be lazy. They're cheap to be profitable is different. I'm like, do I need to get up? I just lie here. It's fine. This works. It's one of those things.
Yeah, no, financial planner is such a long way to say you don't eat crustaceans. Because they're expensive. It's inefficient. Not because of the Jews.
Jay, I need you to give me one joke that's actually yours and original. You can't just run around saying street jokes on people's things and think that you're like, I'm the funny guy. You're not.
Okay, but everybody can't be a comic like us, you know.
I mean, that's fair.
We're
like,
legit. Not everybody's legit. There's nothing wrong with not being legit too.
No, but don't try and
you and I both know how hard it is to come up with a joke. We're really good at it just because we put so much effort and time and know how to structure jokes and studied it and everything. But if you don't know all that, it's fucking hard to come up with a joke.
Well, like we're both funny in general. So Jay, not everyone can pull off a toupee. I feel like, Jay, you're walking around with a merkin on the top of your head.
Talking about me or you or Dino though, because like Dino
if
very honestly, if he was gonna get a toupee, like that wouldn't be it. Like I'm not trying to talk shit, Dino.
No,
but, come on, I know you. I know that if you were to get a toupee, you would do a better job than that.
Are you kidding me? It would look like one of those Japanese guys where it'd be like, wow. I'd look like Goku. I'd be like, oh, this is my hair now.
At least pull the Donald Trump, man.
I mean, like it would like, yeah, I'd look like I would have like one of those switchblades that's a comb and be like, oh yeah. Like I would just walk around combing my hair. Dino in Spanish means say no. Yeah. Well, I'm Greek, so I don't really care. Your language in Spanish isn't a language. It's basically just people mumbling.
No habla español.
At least go bald. What?
I mean, I'm kind of with him on that. You know, Jay has a point. I've been saying this for a year now. Just go bald, man.
So my next haircut, I am going to try and shave it down, but not bald, just because.
Shave it down. Just go try it bald. Try it bald once. See how it looks. I guarantee you, it'll look good. You have the head for it.
Gotta understand, I'm only recently small enough where my wiener is involved in my daily life. Okay, so I'm not gonna go against the grain when I'm told, "Hey, I don't want you to shave your head." I'm just not gonna shave my head. Okay, Greeks were gay warriors. You're a gay, not a warrior. How do you feel? Also, like, bro, you're not even a warrior, still gay. So who are you trying to punish? That's odd.
Tell me the Nazis weren't gay though. Like the way that they spoke, they were like, "Get the butt in the orders, yeah. Let's go get the Jews, yeah."
Like when you look at how they partied after the war, you're kind of going, "That's a little bit more." I put the G in gay. Yeah, that's why we're saying you're gay, bro. It's fine. You're like, look, it's 2024. You're allowed to be gay. You don't have to be in the closet and stuff.
You see how they walk? You see how the Nazis are
very gay. It's very.
They're so gay. Like, I mean, look how fucking great they dressed.
Bro, it was designed by Coco Chanel. You're like, listen, dude,
the American military uniform that was designed by man.
Oh.
But the Nazis, that was designed by Coco Chanel, and ain't no fucking straight man wearing Coco Chanel. Okay, literally was designed by Coco Chanel. The actual person, she was a Nazi sympathizer.
She was a traitor.
Oh yeah, a traitor to our people for sure.
You know, toupee to man, handling.
Why do you think the Nazis are so obsessed with Paris?
Yeah,
they were fucking gay.
You know what a Parisian woman will do for some chocolate? And especially the Germans all had Panzer chocolate, which was meth. They'll do a lot more.
They're eating sausage. That's another thing, you know. Sauerkraut, yeah.
And Franklin Hookins. Anyways, guys, well, this has been Life of Giants, everyone. Please check out our channels. There's Sniffing Glue _22 and Dino the Genetic Marvel on all platforms. We are uploading stuff every day. And tomorrow, we are back here at 7:30. We have a guest as well who is very popular. And
rapper from Pittsburgh.
And we're going to be doing strawberry crepes. So please come check us out at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. and we are going to be having well, just for Jay, a gay old time. It's going to be fun, and you can brag to people about how gay it is. Do you have anything to plug?
No, that about covers it.
All right, everybody. We will talk to you. Napoleon syndrome. That's because I'm a little man, bro. I'm 6'3" and 280 pounds. I could rip your arms off whenever I choose. So eat, shit, and die. I'll see you in hell, Jay. Also.